Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 441. Today is Tuesday, May 30th, 2023, and I'm glad you could join me today. It's a little bit of a weird day. So, would it be? First off, there were apparently all sorts of crazy uploading issues, so I have just finished uploading and posting my last episode because something weird happened. I don't know, whatever. And then I was planning on recording this weekend. It was a holiday weekend. I knew I would have lots of knitting content. And then it turned out that I accidentally needed to camp in the Denver airport. And that I spent a lot of Sunday in like blackout level sleep recovering from such nonsense. So as a result, I am recording now. And it was more just, it was like, I don't know. So there's a little bit of time, so I figured might as well do it because there's a lot to update and talk about. I got back from a very hectic, crazy pants week at work, and then I had a week of vacation, and now it's gonna be some hectic, crazy pants work in the middle, because that was probably the most inconvenient time to leave. I'm sure there are worse times too, but would it be? Everyone was so excited I was back today. Especially the person who was covering for me. So it's fine. Would it be? So I'm assuming that it's gonna be a bad time soon. So so I may be a little punchy because whatever, it's been a long day. But such is life. So would it be? And it is the case where I'm not entirely sure what I was expecting. But it was the case where I didn't end up having any spinning done. Would it be? That may change. It's probably a good night to chill and spin a bit. Like, that sounds nice. Especially if I need to actually get this uploaded in a timely fashion. Would it be? I think part of the challenge that's been getting me lately is that I really haven't been spending a lot of time on my computer, so that I don't notice when things go awry with my upload process, or it'd be the case where I don't quite finish before the end of the weekend and I forget to hit publish. So whatever. It's not like I'm working on like very timely hot right now projects. So if this reaches you at a strange time, it's not like it's that much different. Would it be? And probably maybe I could have recorded on the Sunday, but I had would it be? I had questions for all of my knitters, so after being like totally destroyed, everybody was totally destroyed on Sunday, which I was hoping to be like a catch-up day, like buy groceries. I did buy groceries, that was fine. But it'd be the case, like, get ready for the week, make a big batch of food or something like that, and be like, oh no. but I ended up having a very excellent Monday because it was Memorial Day, so it was a day off work. And luckily, my Berkeley knitters had moved their potlucks, so there was time to buy food, make a dish for the potluck, and then bring it. And so then I got to spend the whole afternoon hanging out in the backyard, noshing and knitting. Um, and then I went straight from that to my normal San Francisco knitting group and got to spend that noshing and talking. So it was a very excellent Memorial Day. I did appreciate that very much. But we're now back in the grind. So this is actually like the first time that I've knit today. So whatever. I did get some balance in life because I did end up taking a middle of the day shower. And I think that's like one of those work from home day pleasures that be like, you know what would make me feel good right now? Just take a shower. I wrote a beat. I think part of this is that it is the most pleasant time because there is like a skylight in my bathroom, and so it's very warm and sunny. If you take a shower in the middle of the afternoon, it's much more pleasant. Well, whatever. It was great. So, I don't even know. I don't even know what the point was. It's point free. So super lovely day yesterday. What it be? I spent a pretty decent portion of that time actually working on fixing my spouse's lizard tessellation fingerless mitts again. What it be? Luckily I've never had any issues in the color work portion, but it feels like it hasn't been that long since I last repaired them and then needed to do more repairs. So one of them was straight up like break in the cast on edge. I couldn't tell whether or not it had been some cast on edge that I had already fixed. And then there was also like a hole in the finger. And I spent way too much time yesterday afternoon trying to find the end so that I could unravel that finger and reknit it. And once I got it going, it was fine. But I don't know what I was doing wrong. But eventually I figured out something right and got the edge off and continued on with my day. But yeah. Yeah, I don't, because I was thinking about it, because it'd be the case where my own mitts are also merino cashmere nylon, but it's like a true fingering instead of like the heavy lace that I knit my spouse's in. But like he really loves them, like, and he knows that it's nice. I don't think that he can explain or what it is that is so wonderful about cashmere, but he knows. Like it's a much nicer one, and I've never needed to repair his Woolmisa ones, but so keep doing it. It was a part of the negotiation was that I would finish fixing them. I have like a whole bag, or would it be? I've been carrying it around with me like this like bag of mending for socks. I suppose now that it's like stash time, I feel like fix it. It's for points now. But yeah, it is the case where I haven't even like looked to see. So whatever. We'll figure something out. But what I actually have here is a woolly wormhead hat that I ended up starting Saturday at lunchtime. So here we are at Tuesday. And obviously my travels home were much more chaotic than I was initially expecting. I was supposed to be home much earlier. Um, then it ended up. So I got a lot of knitting in. Uh, so, and this I think was going to be. I had decided probably a few weeks ago that if I did want like a nice palette cleanser sort of project, that this was a great one to do this. So what I'm doing is I'm knitting with fully spun yarn in the berry crumble and some other flavor. The blue hole. It sounds like a dirty reference I don't get. So we have berry crumble and the blue hole. The blue hole is fingering that I'm holding doubled, and berry crumble is a true DK 2-ply marl. And what it be? So, and this time, so I knit the Azula hat first, and I finished that I think sometime in January, or I started it at Christmas, ripped it out, started over again, and then finished it in January. While I was on my Asia trip, and then it was the case where I'd never put away the yarn. It's just been sort of kicking around for the last couple of months. And so I decided, after I think some chatting with my like San Francisco knitters, I cast on Cora, which is balanced. So all of the hats are based off of would it be like The Last Airbender, that whole series, and so this one is actually like the spin-off series. I haven't watched the spin-off series. I'm sure it's fine. So this particular pattern sort of has elements of fire, earth, water, and air in it. And I'm really happy with how this is turning out. So what I decided to do was to actually work from both ends of my DK ball, because I had this section which was like fuchsia and this other section that was would it be like orange, and by itself I wasn't so keen on it, but when you combine these two together it's actually really quick fetching. And then this is what I have left of my fingering weight skein. I have made it past the yarn that I ended up winding off when I decided to restart this hat. So this is the original hat that I had finished in January with the flames. You can, what would it be? So I think this here is, or this is my seam, but it's pretty subtle discontinuity, all things considered. So, and I believe I knit this on US 4 needles, and so it is pretty slouchy. But I wasn't sure, because I wasn't, or in terms of like with the remaining colors in the ball, but I am, or would it be? I got all the good fire colors in this hat, and this one is much more pinks, and it's fabulous. I love it. Can't wait to finish this up. And I'm actually really close, so I think I'm about ready to start wedge 16 of 18. And this is, or would it be, with this hat, I think it was like totally possible that you could have like omitted a wedge and everything would be fine. I know, I'm definitely getting good fire vibes from this. This one, woolly, is firm. If you want this to work, you have to do it all. But I don't know, it's just so cool looking. So would it be? The other thing is, like, would it be? There will definitely be like a color discontinuity in this, and I think I'm accepting of this happening. But what's gonna happen is I'm gonna graft it, or based on my color choices, I'll be grafting with the blue. And so that'll sort of hide it to a certain extent. But overall, I think this is very harmonious and balanced. So yeah, I'm excited about how it's turning out. Excited to wrap up the project, and then I think I'll be a little bit at a loss. So, why do I say that? So, where do we? So, there was a very good reason, why I couldn't record on Sunday, because I need to talk to some knitters and figure some stuff out. And then, would it be? Ended up coming back with a split decision, so I'm now going to talk to you guys about it too. Whatever. So, would it be? So it would be the case where, I did not run out of knitting on my trip. It turned out that I just kept knitting the cowl. And then I got to the point where I was going to, or would it be? Like, I think last time when I was talking to you guys, I was talking about doing like the last section of the cowl with a pattern, and I had picked out some patterns which I thought were cool. And would it be? And I was like knitting them on the flight out and establishing the pattern and getting all that going, and there was not enough yarn to make that actually look like a thing. So it'd be the case where or would it be? I did not have like enough of the caveat yarn in order to make a section that looked like it was on purpose. Basically. So there's that. And let's see. Yeah. So it was the case where then I ended up ripping back. Even a little bit further, so that I could join it earlier, in order to make it seem like a little bit more on purpose, more purposeful, basically. And what it being did yarn jig a couple of times and failed, because even though I had my scale with me, I wasn't using it to weigh the ball of yarn. So it was a case where I got it all bound off, but I did not cut the yarn, because like it didn't seem like things were right. So just finishing off this section. I can pull it out. So this is going well. I'm happy with this. Not so sure. So, and actually what I have right now is I actually have it pinned at the moment. So it'd be the case where I went back to the previous section and pinned it out, so that we could look and see. So this is how much I managed to knit. There's not enough yarn to do any more. This is how much surface area of fabric I could create. Um, so I pinned it up, and so the San Francisco knitters were like, okay, so zhuzh, so point is facing down, put a tassel on it, which I'm not sure whether or not I would even have enough yarn to do the tassel, and you're like, wear this under a coat, and this is a workable thing. Like Dicky. What would it be? You have all of this very warm, soft, precious yarn. If I'm keeping it for myself, which I probably am, it would be the case of maybe over dyeing it, just so that it is more to my taste. It would be, but like this is like entirely like a function of like the increases that I decided to do. So it does have like a square look to it, and then there's not really much of anything in the back here. If you do something more like this, like it doesn't, or to be like, this is mega super drapey, so even though I was using like a US 2 needle, like there's not a lot of body to this. So if you wear it like this, you can't even really see what's going on. And I don't know, this t-shirt is also probably not the appropriate thing to go with it. But what would it be? So then it's like, is there anything that one can do to make this work better? And what would it be? So if you end up rotating it, what would it be? It's just not quite know what I was going for on this. So then the Berkeley knitters are like, or so the San Francisco knitters like, wear it only like this and put a tassel on it. I'm not sure, I'm not a tassel person, but the tassel would weigh it down and make it somewhat more intentional, I guess. But then the Berkeley knitters, like, I put it on and they're like, or would be like, the hostess was like, oh, you can save it, and I put it on and she's like, there's no saving it. So it is not as versatile a thing. So would it be? But then the problem with this is that this is actually pinned up, so it's actually like a slightly even larger hole. So this one is fine. Like this is workable. But then that would end up requiring me to rip back again. So it might just be like a little bit cursed. Or it required, what would it be? Like the only other thing that I could think of would be if you ended up making a thing where you cast on, so another way that one could approach bandana cowl could be that you end up having your tube, and then you have your tube so you have your tube and you're working down from whatever, you have your tube can go over your head, and then you make the shape of it, or you end up doing the shape of it by doing increases in the front of it, or doing whatever pattern you wanted in the front of it. So that would change the shape, and maybe that would be less of a curse shape than this. So would it be? But it is the case where the it has turned square. I don't know if this is like if that means it was like overcompensated. Um, and no, I don't think that blocking would change what's fundamentally going on here. Yeah, and there was a case where I wasn't even able to incorporate like a fun stitch pattern from the stitch dictionary. I was like, So, um, what would it be? The other, it's also, or would it be? It'd be the case where when you think about like, okay, I did manage to make like a pretty decent amount of fabric here, but not like it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. So I can what would it be? So I think or would it be? I think I already know. I will need to rip back. And like what it like it's definitely a situation of like rip what would it be? Like rip because like this shape just totally failed. Like it was fun and festive to do. It probably would have been fine if it was a regular shawl, but I don't have enough yarn for a regular shawl amount of thing. So there's that. Do I have some more yarn lying around where I could would it be incorporate into this in order to make it bigger? Maybe. Um do I have it actually spun up right now? Probably the closest complement would be my oh now I'm blanking on the name, but um I did use my camel silk and my merino or in my yak silk to make a shawl, and so that would be like the same level of luxury here. I don't know whether or not I have any of my other luxury items. I don't think any of my other luxury items are already spun up at this point. Though may be worth a gander to look. Yeah, I don't know whether or not it's much easier on this one in order to figure out. Like, would it be less cursed if it was as small a neck opening as possible? Because like when I was looking at images of bandana cowls on Ravelry, that was like a consideration that I had, which was like, okay, is there just something fundamentally awkward about the shape? Yeah, no, this one is too small. So maybe this would fit nicely. Yeah, it does not go over my head, and I don't really want to force it. So that I think is the challenge. There is that the yarn is very drapey, and so because the yarn, or would it be? The yarn is both really drapey and very, or would it be? It has excellent drape because of how fine it is. At the same time, the silk content that I have in my Kiviot blend yarn means that it's not very elastic at the same time. So it flows just fine, but saying that I feel like I'm out of rotation. flows just fine. But yeah, no, I'm not sure if what are like this looks like a sweater yoke. um, so it'd be, so it may just be some wickers. I would have to probably have like a different, it would probably require like a different edge treatment. Or to be, and because of its lack of elasticity, you can't necessarily have like the cowl that can, what it be, there's just not, it just doesn't have the body to be something that would actually be up on my neck in the end. So what it be. So could you have done something that would work a little bit better? Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's possible that it was the secret of other abandoned neck couples, but I'm sure. So alternatively, another way of approaching this problem is to be like, okay, like it's probably, what would it be? It's probably not like hat material. It would it be just because it is, would it be? Like, there's more than a hat here, but there's not too much more than a hat. So then another way of approaching it would be like, okay, like you can totally do something like a narrow scarf, for example. So, what it be? So, whatever, you can translate, whatever, you could probably figure out, like, based on this surface area of thing, if you ended up having a little scarfy thing, like how small of a little scarfy thing could you end up creating. So I could probably make something that's like 4 times this is like super warm. Wow. So you could totally do like a little like scarfy thing. It would feel very lovely. It may not even need to be dyed blue for it to be a useful object. Can wear it a bunch of different ways, or would it be? Because like my favorite is actually you end up folding it in half and then keyholing it. So that could be really nice. Could be very cute. You could also do like the little tie thing, like the Sophie scarf. But then it would be whatever, my own original design, and what would it be? Like whatever, something that's like you could with like a small scarfy thing, you could actually make something that is a good length here. So what would it be? And maybe that would be like my opportunity to say, what would it be? Maybe we could probably guesstimate from this like how many stitches that would need to be to still have like a good little thing. So I think that is what needs to happen. And then it would be the case where I think overall it's fairly balanced. And could even do like that same striping sequence basically. Actually, it probably would be. It may even end up working out like a little bit better because I did like that aspect of it. I don't know if, or would it be impossible that I could also continue to have the little stitch pattern that I was doing. It's just been a different direction. I would have to have decreases in there too, but would it be? It could just be like edge decreases basically. So we could totally imagine like a thing like this, or we end up taking like a section, folding. Could totally do something that would look like this. Oh, that would still have, I think. So doing it this way, you would still end up having some of the, you would still have some of this movement and cool look to it. So I think I've convinced. Yeah. Or it would be. I could even do a thing where it ends up being like a little, like having like basically like little points on it. So you could even whatever, start with a point, go out, and then have the little zigzaggy pattern here. But then it would end up being like decreases from there. So I'm seeing where I want to do, but it will be like a whole fresh object. Could even be, if you're just assuming like a certain width, I could even keep the I-cord edge. I may not even need to well, it might end up being ripping all the way back, I'm not sure. Because, yeah, like I could probably, like some of it just has to do with at what point do you start having decreases on the edge. And that just boils down to like how wide you want the object to be. Okay, I'm sort of excited that I can still keep this stitch pattern because I thought that was fun and pleasant to do. And then there'd be less boring, just straight up brioche plain and simple on this. Because, yeah. What I'm just trying to think about if it would end up. I'm just thinking about the whole point idea. It may not actually point if I end up doing it this way, so whatever. Or if I wanted a point, I'd have to change, or it'd be the case where so it may end up being ripping back to the very beginning, because if I wanted to do a point, I would need to have my increases on the edge in order to make that happen, and then build the body from there, and then launch into my centered ones. So I think it, yeah, I guess the other question then would be, would I want to keep the I-cord, keep the I-cord edge, because that ends up, would it be? I'm not sure. I have to figure that one out. And then the other thing would be whether or not I'd want to have the same like rest sequence that I have, because I think that is like at least a reasonable amount of pattern, but then you end up having two sections where nothing's changing, but that's fine. Shouldn't be too crazy. So, whatever. The biggest swatch I ever made. So it may be the case where I need to artfully hide the fact that I didn't commit to getting rid of the ends, take a photo, and then start over again. But I think I have a plan, so that's better than nothing, right? Okay. Still working on the course spinning. I can't tell you whether or not I've worked on it since the last episode. I've forgotten what I talked about last time. But it's sitting here. I pulled the band off my wheel because I wasn't sure when I would get back to things, so there's that. I carried the yarn for my sweater with the Swatch of Doom. I got to share the Swatch of Doom again, but I did not cast on. I decided the hat was a better choice while I decided on what I wanted to do with my luxurious scarf. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was some stash positions. So it was the case where my spouse's aunt was like, "You are planning on going to Fiberspace, right?" Because she knows I'm a knitter, and that's an awesome knitting store that's in Old Town Alexandria. I also bought books for the Bambino. And this may or may not be for the Bambino. Otherwise, or as my Berkeley knitters have said, otherwise I'm knitting an Alice Starmore sweater. So, what I have going on here was I was trying to figure out like something that could work as a color palette. Of course, I ended up picking up. So it was the case where I came together with this, which I felt like was a good mix of light and dark and different colors. And I have 3 of these navy balls. So so it's entirely possible to put together something my size if it has a whole ton of color work, but it's also possible to put something together that is small child size that just has a lot of colors in it. Yeah, and I figured that this was a good mix of things. I needed to get the lagoon because it was just so gorgeous, and then I decided, I picked up a lot of these just because I felt like it was just so pretty. So the dealio here, this is D. Rerum Natura Ulysses. And so there aren't very many shops apparently in the country that sell this. This was the discussion I had with the owner of the Black Squirrel. She would like to get some, and apparently they require the LYS owner to write an essay explaining why. So this is 100% wool. All of the fancy pants descriptions are actually in French and covered with the price tag. But would it be like, I feel like there is like enough here to make something. It's super duper gorgeous woolen spun yarn that's also very soft as well. And would it be, I was just totally sold by like the depth of the color. And I don't know, since it is late in the evening, whether or not we can even show the majesty of that. And it's probably easier to show on a later color. Bring it really close. I'm trying. There we go. Well, it's a little bit washed up. But I was like, this is so pretty. So I went through the whole store. They did actually have things that were like on sale, but I did not select that for myself. And I got a cute tote with a sheep on it. In this case, apparently a French sheep and a spaceship. So will I be starting anything immediately? I guess not. I guess not. So, but would it be? It was just, it screamed to me that it wanted to be color work. It wanted to be pretty. Would it be? So I answered the call. So would it be? So should be interesting. I'll let you guys know how things turn out. Really, really good odds, I think, that my game plan would be to I think how I would want to approach the project is from like actually getting like the Strange Brew pattern from Tin Cat Knits, and then whatever, designing my own thing or using one of the charts that's a part of that. So I'm guessing that's going to be the right course of action for that, basically. So so that is right there, and then we'll find out if it ends up being a child versus an adult thing. I could, if I really like it, now that I've seen it in person, then maybe there could even be like matching sweaters. Wouldn't that be super precious? But would it be? But then there's also the challenge of would it be moving target of knitting for children. So who knows? I suppose I haven't tried a couple of the sweaters on in a while, so I'll have to make sure that they still work. So not too crazy. So that is the story there. Let's see. Is there anything else I wanted to chat about? I think that's everything. There was a lot to chat about. Make sure. It always makes me nervous when it freezes. So would it be? So quite a bit of knitting content. Would it be? Though it does feel like in the end it will be a bit of negative progress, unfortunately. and apparently I'm going to end up probably taking quite a few photos of the thing in case I do want to use it for imaginary points or not. I don't know. Probably more so the case where I should whatever, finish my spinning project so that I can do other things. Would it be whatever, such is life. So, and hopefully it will not take as long to upload this episode as the last one. So, would it be? I anticipate I will next record on the 11th of June, and I will have much to update in terms of whichever version of Worldwide Knit and Public Day I select. There seems to be an awful lot of options for that. Or would it be whether or not would it be? I think a lot of it just depends on which one is more convenient. So, but I will be doing out in the public somewhere, doing stuff that seems to be a definite. What do we? Then this weekend will be nice and chill. Would it be any other things? Yeah, just figuring out everything that I need in order to do, or there are a lot of moving pieces going into my big trip in July, including the fact that the Dearly Local one is also planning on doing a nice vacation as well. So, but not with me. So looking forward to that, but that one's going to be sort of complicated. I'm not super duper excited about the concept, but the current plan is going to be flying solo with the Bambino, most of the way across the country, not all the way across. Which, well, it's definitely going to be challenging for sure. I don't know if the appropriate strategy is going to end up being leaving very, very early, because he's definitely a morning person and is a much more charitable person in the morning than in the evening. So we'll have to get that all sorted. So there's that. Sorry, I'm just trying to detangle this little bit of yarn. So what it be? So need to finish that endeavor. Yeah, ended up procrastinating, I think, a little bit, because I was like trying to figure out if I could include one more item in the trip itself, but realistically, there was actually an easier solution to that problem. So whatever. So hopefully we can get rid of it. It's logistically less painful details. So that's good. But yeah, I'm trying to think. So that is exciting. Nice to be at the point where you can think about the next fun thing you're going to do. Let's see. Anything else I wanted to chat with you guys about? I think that's it. So with that, I hope you guys have a a lovely week. And I look forward to talking to you guys soon. So, take care, guys. Bye bye.